Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm super excited because we are going to be talking about my favorite thing in the entire world, which is eyeshadow palettes. So this is the eyeshadow palette tag where I'm going to be showing you different palettes in different categories, and it was created, I believe, by Samantha March. I'm not 100% sure, but I will link the original video down below, and I will also leave all of the categories and questions and things like that in the description box. So if you want to do this yourself, then you can find it all down there. So it was pretty difficult to choose one palette for each category. I went through my whole entire palette collection. It took a while, but I finally narrowed it down and I'm excited to show you what I have picked. Also guys, quick disclaimer, a lot of these palettes are disgusting, like very dirty, because most of them I've had for a very long time and most of them are very loved. So please excuse that throughout this video. I am a mess when I do my makeup. I'm like throwing things here, there and everywhere. So that is why you might see some disgusting palettes, but please ignore that. And anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and we are gonna get straight on into the video. Number one is show your newest palette, and I used this in my last video, so if you saw that then you will know already what it is. But it's actually this one from Primark. It's called the Sunset Beach palette and it was €8. It's literally so affordable. Here is what the shades look like inside. It is my first palette I've ever tried from Primark and I am so impressed with the quality that I really want to get some more. It's such a beautiful, warm toned, everyday neutral palette and the shades are literally so soft. Definitely check out my previous video where I tried this out and I put it on my eyes because I was so surprised with how well these shadows blended and everything like that. It even comes with a mirror. Here are a few of the shades swatched on my hand and you can just see the color story is perfect for basically anyone that wants to do eyeshadow. They are not the most pigmented shadows ever, but for the price they are amazing and I would definitely recommend this palette. So that is the Primark Sunset Beach palette, and also the packaging is just so cute. I love the tortoise shell. Well done Primark, you did so good with this. Number two, show your oldest palette. So I think every single person on the entire earth has this palette or had this palette at some point in their life. It was the most hyped palette in the entire world. When I first got into YouTube, this is what everyone was using. So it was the first eyeshadow palette I ever picked up and it is the Naked palette by Urban Decay. This is the original one. It's got that velvet packaging, which I think is actually kind of cute. I have not used this in probably 6 years. This is so old. I don't even think I should put it on my eyes at this point just because of how old it is. I even have the little brush in there. So here's what the palette looks like. It was everyone's perfect everyday neutral palette. There weren't that many colourful looks going around. People weren't really into colourful eyeshadows back then. So everyone was doing all these smoky looks with this. To be honest, I don't really like it that much. The shades are just like kind of boring to me. The colour story is kind of boring and they are not the most pigmented things ever. They are just meh, to be honest. Urban Decay has, I think, upped their formula. They have released a lot of palettes after this, like a lot of Naked palettes. So there are a few of the shades on my hand there. This I think is a great palette for a beginner or someone that's like not really into makeup and maybe wants to do a really simple eyeshadow look. I just swatched them on my hand and I actually could not remember what the formula was like because I haven't used it in so long, but they were actually pretty soft and they came out very pigmented. I'm actually quite surprised. Like that shimmery shade there is so reflective and so beautiful. It's very user friendly and you can create a lot of different neutral looks. It's just that I have so many neutral palettes these days that I never reach for it and it's just a little bit boring to me, to be honest. This is actually quite a cool video because I'm gonna maybe discover some old favorites that I haven't used and that will inspire me to maybe pick them back up again. Number three, show your most expensive palette, and I don't even know why I bought this. Again, this was back when I started getting into makeup. I was super excited to go out and buy palettes and there weren't that many cool innovative brands. Everything was pretty neutral and wearable and I really wanted to feel bougie and I went to Selfridges in London. I went to Tom Ford. I was like, I need to buy some Tom Ford makeup and I spent £69 on this tiny palette which has 4 eyeshadows in it. It's the Tom Ford Eye Colour Quad in Golden Mink. I hardly ever use it, but it just It's so bougie. This is what the shades are like. You only get 4 shades for £69. Like, why? 10 grams of product in here. It's a very wearable palette. Again, like the Urban Decay Naked, it's very neutral. I think I used this 3 times in my life. I was very excited when I picked it up. It is quite limited, seeing as there are only 4 shades in here. You can't really do that much. Those are some of the swatches on my hand. They actually don't feel as soft as the Naked Urban Decay shadows. Hello, Tom Ford, why are you so expensive? It does come up with a nice mirror though, so that's cute. Oh my gosh, swatching these, there is like no pigment at all. And one of the shades, you can't even see it because it's so light. Where is it? I can't even see it. It's here. I think it's meant to be maybe a highlight shade for the brow bone or the inner corner. The shimmer shades are okay, but again, nothing super pigmented, nothing super reflective. And for £69, you would probably want more than this, but it's something nice to have in my collection. And I really love the packaging. That's basically all I can say about it. And it brings back memories again to when I was like starting out in makeup and this whole passion evolved, and look where we are now. Maybe that's why the shades are not that pigmented, because it is pretty old, but I'm not going to get rid of it ever. Number 4, show your most affordable palettes. So I think I did go through my palettes and I had a few affordable palettes. I'm more of like the middle to high end range girl. I really love high end eyeshadow palettes, but I know that you can get so many affordable ones these days that are such good quality. So you don't really need to spend £70 on an eyeshadow palette to get a good quality eyeshadow. So it was probably this one, but I don't even know if you can get this anymore. This was a L'Oreal quad, and again, it's literally the same. Oh my gosh, this is like a dupe maybe. They're like almost the same colors except for this coppery tone, which you don't get in the Tom Ford one, but there's very similar. Like for a neutral palette, just get this one for £5 instead of this one for £69. Next comes the Makeup Revolution Reloaded palette. This is an Iconic Division, and I think it was supposed to be a dupe for the Anastasia subculture. I quite like the color story. It really drew me in with all these greeny and neutral tones, and Revolution do some of the best eyeshadows in the drugstore. I have not tried their new palettes, which look amazing. I really need to pick them up, but yeah, I got this around 2 years ago. It was around £5, so very, very affordable, and the shades feel so soft. Again, not the most pigmented eyeshadows I have ever used in my entire life, but for the price, like the Primark ones, very good quality. Oh, they look so pretty, don't they, on my hand? I love this forest green shade. I have not used it in so long. I think I'm going to create a greeny kind of look with this palette on my channel at some point, but look how pigmented those are. Compared to the Tom Ford ones, they look even more pigmented. They are so soft to the touch. And I remember that they blend really easily, except for some of the cool tone shades, which are a little bit patchy. But if you want to save some money and you're willing to put in that extra effort, I think this is a very good palette. But yeah, look at those swatches. You would ask why? Why did you spend £69 on a Tom Ford eyeshadow palette, Aisha? I don't know. Number 5, show your everyday palette. And you guys probably already know I have used this so much on my channel since I got it, and it is the Tati Beauty Texture Neutrals Volume 1 palette. It is very dirty because it has that matte black packaging, which just gets so dirty so easily. But this is the perfect everyday palette. Like, look at the shades there. You have such a good range of neutral shades that you could create a pink look, a black look, an orange look, a cool brown look. There is so much versatility, and I'm obsessed with these glitters. You also get a huge mirror, so if you're going traveling, although it is very heavy, if you just want to take one palette and you take this with you, it's very handy because it has that huge mirror. This is the best formula I have ever tried, I think, just because the eyeshadows blend themselves. You don't need to do anything. You just put them on your eyes and it's like a dream. They are the softest things and they are the most pigmented things I have ever used. It's really cool how it's laid out into color stories. I think it makes it very easy. When you look at it, you kind of just know how to create a look. So those are a few of the shades there. And it's also really cool if you want to go from day to night. You could do a simple look in the day and then just add one of the glitters in the evening if you want to spice it up a little bit and you don't have time to like redo your makeup. But just look at those shades. How dreamy do they look? This is literally my dream palette. When I first saw it, I was like, that's so boring. I don't need that, blah, blah, blah. watched so many videos about it, and then I was like, okay, I need it, I'm gonna get it. And it quickly turned into my favorite palette. I mean, one of my favorite palettes. I have a lot, but my favorite everyday palette. I hardly dip my finger in, and I literally just swatched each one once. The black is the best black eyeshadow I have ever used. I'm not even joking. If you watch my first impression review on this, I did a black look with the silver glitter, and I was just so impressed at like the first touch. Love at first sight. I will link all the palettes in the description box if you are interested, so you can go check that out too. Number 6, show your most colorful palette. Now here's where I ran into a few issues, because I have a few colorful palettes and they're all as colorful as each other, I think. I narrowed it down and I chose the Be Perfect Cosmetics Carnival palette. This was a collaboration with Stacey Marie, just because this is my favorite colorful eyeshadow palette. They are the most pigmented shades, like colorful shades I have ever used. And I really want to get her XL Carnival palette, which is much bigger than this, and you get even more shades and it just looks stunning. But I have used this to death. I have hit pan on 2 shades, and I don't usually hit pan on eyeshadows that easily. But you do get a few neutral shades in here, but most of these are colorful shades. You have every color under the rainbow in this palette. You also have 2 highlighter shades, but yeah, just ignore that. This is so colorful, and you could do any colorful look. And I was so excited when I first got this. These are the shades on my finger here. You get a nice range of matte and shimmer shades, and I have created so many like crazy Instagram looks with this. It is around £40, I believe, and the XL one, where you get way more shades, is around £5 more. So if you're thinking about getting this one, I would recommend the XL one. Those are the shades on my hand there. They swatch so nicely, they blend so nicely, they show up so pigmented on the eyes. I never really have any problems with it. And you do also get really nice shimmer shades. I love this goldy bronzy color here. This is a must if you want a colorful palette. I also have the NYX Vivid Brights palette, the Morphe 35B palette, which are all super colorful, but I chose this because it is my favorite, and the formula is my favorite for the colorful shadows. Number 7, show your smallest palette. And again, I do not know why I bought this, just because I was obsessed with the brand at the time and I wanted to try literally everything from this brand. And it is a palette by Charlotte Tilbury. I'm scared to tilt it because this shade has actually come loose and it will fall out if I tilt it too much. But this is the Fallen Angel Luxury Palette in color-coded eyeshadows. Oh, that's nice. I didn't even realize that. So on the back is like number 1 is to prime, number 2 is to enhance, number 3 is to smoke, and number 4 is to pop. But yeah, it's a really diddy, really small. You only get 4 little eyeshadows in here. The formula is nice though. Again, I hardly ever use this. I think I used this twice in my life. A very similar color story to the others. I really like this dark shade down here though. It's like a really dark brown. Be great for deepening up the outer corner. But compared to the Tom Ford, they are swatching really nicely and very smooth. So those are the shades there. These swatches all literally look the same because these are my kinds of eyeshadows. For this little tiny thing here, you have to pay 50 something pounds. Charlotte Tilbury is obviously a very bougie brand, and I really do love Charlotte Tilbury as a brand. You do get a mirror, which is cute, and I love the packaging with all like the little stars on it. And you get 2.8 grams in this one. But definitely look into Charlotte Tilbury's like blushes and lipsticks, because she is so good at formulating. She's very innovative, and the eyeshadows do feel nice. I think this is more geared maybe to like older women with more money than me. It is definitely an investment, and I love having it in my collection. Here is the size reference. Let's put it here. It's teeny tiny, weeny. That is my smallest palette. Number 8 is show your biggest palette. And to be honest, most of my eyeshadow palettes are the same size. I don't really own a humongous eyeshadow palette like the James Charles one or anything like that. But I think my biggest palettes are the Morphe ones, which are all the same size. I've got the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2, the Jaclyn Hill Original, and also this is the 35B palette. And I do have a few others which are not here, but let me just show you them quickly. So this is what I I was going to choose for my most colourful palette because it is super colourful. You get every colour under the rainbow in here as well. I just prefer the formula of the Be Perfect one. That's why I showed you guys that one. But this is a good option too. This is very affordable. And then this has become another one of my favourite go-to palettes. I literally use it in almost every single video. This is the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. And I love the color story because I'm obsessed with pinks and purples, and I love also how you get a lot of neutral tones as well, so you can create so many looks with this. I am obsessed. If you see any of my recent makeup tutorials, I have used this at least once in every single video. So I need to stop using it, but it's so nice. You get 35 shades in these palettes, which is a very good value for money because they are not that expensive. I think Morphe's 35 shadow palettes range from 30 to 40 pounds. I'm not too sure, but it's a very good like value for money because you get a lot of shades and you can create so many different looks with these palettes. From Morphe, they are my favorite like affordable brand, not drugstore, not high-end, but somewhere in the middle. Number 9, show your palette with the best memory. And this was also a hard category for me because all of my eyeshadow palettes have some kind of memory behind them, especially the ones I got a while ago when I first started getting into makeup. But the one I chose is this one, which is my Sugar Pill custom palette. So I chose all of these shades in here. That is number 1 why it's my most memorable, because I just remember being on the site and just going through all of the shades, like which ones should I pick, which ones are gonna look nice together, because I didn't really know much about eyeshadows or like especially colorful eyeshadows. So I picked these ones. I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but I just remember it coming in the post. I got the empty palette and all of these little pans, and I just popped them into my palette, and I was so proud of myself. I took a picture, I sent it to Sugar Pill on Twitter, and they reposted me, and I was like the happiest girl in the entire world. And it is also my most memorable palette because it was the first colourful eyeshadow palette I ever got. Before this, I was just doing neutral looks, very simple looks, and I thought I was the best makeup artist in the world. And then colourful eyeshadow started to become a thing, not like it is now, but it was like I would do a yellow look, a green look, and I would feel so cool. I'll be like, I'm so good at makeup. Now I look back on the photos, like I was definitely not very good at makeup. But that's why I was so excited, and this is so memorable because I started creating colourful looks for Instagram, and this is where my Instagram journey started. With this palette, I would use it for every single look I would do, and that is when I properly got into doing eyeshadow, and especially creative eyeshadow looks, which is now my hobby, and I do it basically every single day for fun. Swatching these on my hand, they don't look very pigmented, but on the eyes, they blend really, really nicely. They are very, very good quality eyeshadows, and I love how you can create your own custom palette and choose the shades that you want. They have so many to choose from, and I think Sugar Pill does do some very good eyeshadows. They have a really nice formula, and when I got this palette, they were one of the only brands that had a really good range of colourful eyeshadows. Number 10 is a palette that was worth the hype, or is worth the hype. And this had so much hype when it released. I think it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. I don't even remember now. And that is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. And this literally, I think, is the most hyped up palette of all time. I don't even know. Everyone was obsessed with it. And I used it recently, and I remembered how much I loved it. Like the shades, the color story, again, very neutral, but I love how she added these reddy burgundy tones too. You've got like cool tones and warm tones, and it is and was definitely worth the hype because they are so beautiful. Anastasia has one of my favorite eyeshadow formulas. That is some of the shades there on my fingers. I've literally tried so many of her palettes and they have never failed, except maybe with the Subculture. But apart from that, they have never failed. Those are the swatches there. I need to try the Norvina Volume 4 because I actually haven't tried one of the Norvina palettes, but I agree that this was worth the hype and I still love it to this day. The next one, which is number 11, is an eyeshadow palette that was not worth the hype. So I didn't really know what to choose for this because recently I haven't been buying all of the hyped up eyeshadow palettes, and in the past like year or two, there have just been too many releases that I cannot keep up. So this one is a super super old one, and it was really, really, really hyped back in those good old YouTube days. And it was the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I think everyone had this one too. It's very similar to the Urban Decay one, but I was so excited to get this because everyone used to like use it in their YouTube videos and everyone was obsessed with it. It still smells like cocoa powder. Smells so good, but I think I used this 3 times in my life. Just again, because I have too many neutral palettes and this did not stand out to me at all. They do feel very soft. Those are a few of the shades on my hand there. They swatch okay, nothing out of this world, nothing super revolutionary. Even when I first got it, I was still kind of a beginner and I just didn't fall in love with it. I would definitely choose the Tati palette or the Modern Renaissance over this one. Let me know if you were obsessed with that palette. I know this is pretty old still, but just let me know down below. I've been talking for so long now, I really just don't know what I'm saying at this point, so please excuse me and my silliness. Number 12 is show your favorite palette from a favorite brand of yours. So as I was saying before, one of my favorite brands is Anastasia Beverly Hills. And apart from the Modern Renaissance, which is one of my favorite palettes from her, my ultimate, I think, top favorite palette of hers is the Amrezy palette. I am obsessed with this palette just because of the packaging, firstly, because it's pink and it's glittery and I'm such a child. But I love the color story in here because I am obsessed with pinks, as you probably can tell by at this point, and this blue here is so beautiful. I really like this one because there is a whole row of shimmers and a whole row of mattes, and even though it looks really boring maybe and neutral to you guys, you can create so many different looks. I am obsessed with these up here because they are kind of duochrome. One of them is a glitter topper, the one called Barb, and it's very versatile. There are a lot of different formulas in here too. They are all very unique, but look how reflective those are. I don't know if you can see there, but some of them, especially this one called Barb, is duochrome. At times it looks pink and then at times it looks like a white gold kind of shade, but they are so reflective and so pigmented. You don't even need like a wet brush or a primer by themselves. They just work so nicely. And the last one, which is number 13, is show your most used palette. And you're gonna be able to tell that this is my most used palette. I've been using this for 2 years, or whenever it released. Like I got it the day it released and I have been using it ever since. And you will be able to tell because it is a complete disgusting mess. Like, I'm so sorry, I'm so embarrassed. It is horrible. It's because this packaging is cardboard. Like, luckily they have updated the packaging with her new palette because this is disgusting. And this is the Morphe Jaclyn Hill original palette. This is my most used palette because it was my first like big palette with all of these neutral shades in it. I love the formula. Jaclyn Hill's formula is always amazing in this palette and in the new one. And I just literally use this in every single look. Even when I would do a colourful look, I would go into this palette to find a transition shade to put into the crease and to blend the colourful shadows out. And you've even got a few pops of colour. It looks so neutral again, but all of the tones and the shades are completely different. They all have completely different undertones. I also use these ones down here to fill in my eyebrows. I use this one, which you can see I've hit pan and it's almost done. I use this one to actually highlight my face. It's a beautiful face highlighter. So that's why this palette is so versatile. You can use it on the eyes, on the face. Those are a few of the shades there. Look at this one here. I'm obsessed with this cranberry kind of shade. And I would definitely recommend this one to anyone as well. Morphe has changed the formula of this one, so that's really upsetting actually. And hopefully the new one is as good as this one, but I know that it's not vegan anymore, which is really like, why would they do that? I don't know. But her original palette, original formula, is one of my favorites, and so that is why it is my most used palette, and that is why it is completely destroyed and disgusting. So I'm sorry that you had to see that, and now I am a mess too, because I'm just a mess in general and I have eyeshadow everywhere. So I think it's time to finish the video at this point. Those were my eyeshadow palettes. I hope you learned a lot more about my eyeshadow collection, if that was something that interested you. And if you do this tag yourself, let me know in the comments down below, because I would love to check out your videos. I love talking about eyeshadow palettes. They are my favorite makeup item. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video anyway. anyway, if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button down below, and I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye bye.